Welcome to the channel, folks. Mr. H here. Tim Miller, you massive, massive hypocrite. So what we're going to be looking at today, right, is two articles from Variety. I think they were released the same day. I think they were part and parcel of the same type of interview with the same person for different movies, and how his opinions change, how he handles fans change. Why does it change? Because Terminator 6 he is worried about. Now if you don't believe me, just hold tight. I will convince you. And if you're not convinced, well, let me know. I'll be keen to hear. But if you're new here, make sure you hit subscribe, make sure you like the video if you do enjoy it, and also share it, because that really does help me out. But it also helps get this out there, because again, I don't think anyone's done a video which just directly compares two interviews with the same man about similar topics, but with a literally, it's almost like he's got bipolar. Honestly, it is literally like he has bipolar. So let's get into it, right? The main interview which I was referring to yesterday was this one. Now I did a big video on this where I think it was labelled Terminator Dark Fate director versus the Terminator fans, because that's what this is. If you don't like Terminator Dark Fate, you are a misogynist. You are unenlightened. He literally had the audacity to say that if you are unenlightened, you won't like the movie. What a pretentious douche. I'll link that video down below in the description box, because I think you guys will find it funny. Now, I don't want to labour the point too much on this interview, but I will kind of go over it again. Now, this was again by Matt Donnelly, right? And then the other interview was again by Matt Donnelly. So it was the same interview, same time interviewing. But this guy has bipolar between the interviews. It's insane. Yes, they were released the day apart, but it's the same interview, right? The same interviewer. It is part and parcel. They didn't interview him 2 days, 2 days, did he? They interviewed him in one go. Now, the interesting thing I want to point out on this interview first and foremost is where he says, if I was a nerd, and I am, I always imagine reading about plot or story and how I would feel as a fan. I can be objective that way. Okay? Like I did with Deadpool. When I read online, when we announced the film Terminator 6, blah, 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 he realised that obviously he says that he understands where people are coming from. If it's not great, then we've had enough of the franchise, basically. Now, he does go on to say, and again, all of this kind of nonsense here and there, but then we get to the real crux of it here. Mackenzie Davis and her character Grace feel like something very different for the franchise. He states very, very clearly, right? And bearing in mind, he's going to contradict himself in his own interview anyway. He says he understands people. He gets that. But then he states this. So he says, if you're at all unenlightened, if you're at all enlightened, she'll play like gangbusters. And then if you're not enlightened, which means you're a misogynist, according to him, because that's what he says, if you're a closet misogynist, she'll scare the F out of you because she's tough and strong but very feminine. You can see online the response to some of the early stuff that's out there. Trolls on the internet. I don't give a F. For starters, guys, Tim Miller, it's just critique. But here we go. So remember what he says here, okay? Remember, just the response. Apparently we're all trolls. He is a producer on Sonic. What happened with Sonic? Gone for redesign, didn't it? Went for a redesign because of the backlash. Hold on a minute, Tim Miller. Why are we trolls against Terminator 6? Whereas you're the director. Are you the director? Are you also the writer? One of the... Yeah, you are. Oh my god. It's starting to fall into place here. The puzzle pieces, they're slotting in. Whereas on this one, he states, and it's amazing, right? This is the redesign. They have to go back and redesign the whole film, and he's just a producer on it, okay? This is a franchise, and it has to be great. Doesn't Terminator? And again, he says, during a sit-down this week to discuss his upcoming trip to San Diego Comic-Con, where he'll present Terminator Dark Fate. So it's the same interview, they acknowledge that, but the guy has clearly had a brain hemorrhage between topics. Miller has had a hand in Sonic, because he is he's one of the executive producers. Now, it's been directed by Jeff Fowler, who I think, whatever you think of Sonic, whatever you think of Tim Miller, Jeff Fowler, the director, I think you need to give him your props. Because this is a guy that literally, when everything, you know, the shit hit the fan, he said, I'm sorry, we're going to redesign him. He did this without prompting. Nothing from Tim Miller, as stated in this interview. Look, I was with fans and so was Jeff. So why were these people not trolls? Just because you agreed with us at that point? When the shit hit the fan, I went over there and said, the most important thing to do, man, is say I effed up. He'd already sent a tweet about an hour before I got there. He's a good man. It was exactly the right way to handle that. The fans have a voice in this too. There's a right way to listen. Sorry? Sorry. If you're at all enlightened, she'll play like gangbusters. But if you're a misogynist, she'll scare the F out of you. You can see online the responses to some of the early stuff that's out there. Trolls on the internet, I don't give a F. Have you had a brain hemorrhage? Are you okay? Seriously? Even, yeah, it's just the same stuff down here he says about it. And then he even literally says, have you seen any of the character redesigns? In fact, I have, and I think the fans will be pleased. Have you had a brain hemorrhage, Tim? Like, I don't understand. Why is one okay to be critical of, but not the other? Oh, let's piece it together. I've got it. Miraculously, I've used my brain. I understand now why he's such a hypocrite. Because, let's look at the timing of all of this, and look at the timing of this interview. Trailer was, well, poster was released. People didn't really like the fact that there was no John Connor. Trailer was released. Okay? People didn't really like the fact there was no John Connor. People didn't really like how it was looking. Some of the gratuitous phrases that were used just for callback's sake. You know, I'll be back, all this kind of nonsense, right? After the trailer, there was a test screening, which people didn't like. So therefore, they went to Reddit and revealed everything that happened. Now, whatever you think of the test screening, rumours or not, whether you think it happened or not with a plot leak, it doesn't matter. Because immediately following that, what solidifies the fact which, you know, the plot leak was probably true, is it went immediately back for reshoots. Now we have this. So there's like 4 events, and now we have this, the 5th event, which pulls all of the puzzle pieces together. We have an interview of damage control, where the guy clearly has a brain hemorrhage mid-interview, because he says that if you don't like this, you're a troll, but if you didn't like the Sonic design, it was fair fan critique. Why? Because he's scared about this film, he knows it's garbage, or he knows it has the potential to be garbage. Why else would he be doing this? Why else would he be doing this? The massive, massive hypocrite. Huge hypocrite. And it's not even me just saying it. He's a hypocrite. He says it right here. You can see online the responses to some of the early shit that's out there. Trolls on the internet, I don't give a F. What's out there? A poster. Okay. Check, we got one of them for Sonic as well. Oh, we got a trailer. Oh, check, we got one of them for Sonic as well. But one fan backlash is trolls, but the other is, the most important thing to do is say I effed up. It was the exact right way to handle it. The fans have a voice in this too. You stupid hypocrite. You massive doucheburger. What is going on? Like, unbelievable. So I thought I would bring you this, because again, I didn't realise this yesterday when I did this video. I didn't even realise it was tacked on to this part of it. I don't understand why. I just didn't. But then Variety came out with a second article about the same interview. All for the clicks, of course. But in doing so, they just raised something to my attention which we can get out there. You know, let's get this video to at least 50,000 views, which we can do, because the other videos have hit about 40. So we can definitely do that. It needs to be out there because this guy is worried. He's a hypocrite. So anyway, I thought I'd bring you this. What do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. Did you notice this? Did you not? Let me know down below. Any and all thoughts, I'd love to hear it. Like I said at the start, if you're new here, hit subscribe. You can stay up to date on this, just me talking nonsense, the pop culture and movie news show, I guess. And also lore videos. There'll actually be one dropping today. But yeah, hit subscribe. Give this video a like and share. But Mr. H, take care.